Hello, little dreamer. Welcome to Inspiration One Bedtime Stories, where every night brings a tale full of wonder and wisdom. Tonight, we'll listen to a short story from the magical world of Aesop's Fables, stories that have been told for thousands of years, teaching us lessons in the gentlest way. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the story begin. The Dog and His Reflection. A dog, to whom the butcher had thrown a bone, was hurrying home with his prize as fast as he could go. As he crossed a narrow footbridge, he happened to look down and saw himself reflected in the quiet water, as if in a mirror. But the greedy dog thought he saw a real dog, carrying a bone much bigger than his own. If he had stopped to think, he would have known better. But instead of thinking, he dropped his bone and sprang at the dog in the river, only to find himself swimming for dear life to reach the shore. At last he managed to scramble out, and as he stood sadly thinking about the good bone he had lost, he realized what a stupid dog he had been. From that day on, the dog learned to value what he had, instead of chasing after what wasn't real. Let his mistake be a lesson to us all. Greed can make us lose even what we already have. Truly, it is very foolish to be greedy. The Fisherman and the Little Fish. A poor fisherman who lived on the fish he caught had bad luck one day and caught nothing but a very small fry. The fisherman was about to put it in his basket when the little fish said, "Please spare me, Mr. Fisherman. I am so small it is not worthwhile to carry me home. When I am bigger, I shall make you a much better meal." But the fisherman quickly put the fish into his basket. "How foolish I should be," he said, "to throw you back. However small you may be, you are better than nothing at all." The little fish may have promised more, but the wise fisherman knew that hopes don't fill empty bellies. And so he chose the certain over the uncertain. Because in life, a small gain is worth more than a large promise. The Young Crab and His Mother. "Why in the world do you walk sideways like that?" said a mother crab to her son. "You should always walk straight forward with your toes turned out." "Show me how to walk, mother dear," answered the little crab obediently. "I want to learn." So the old crab tried and tried to walk straight forward. But she could walk sideways only, like her son. And when she wanted to turn her toes out, she tripped and fell on her nose. From that moment, the little crab understood that actions speak louder than words. And maybe, just maybe, the mother crab learned something too, that before correcting others, we must first correct ourselves. After all, we shouldn't teach what we can't practice. The Boy and the Filberts. A boy was given permission to put his hand into a pitcher to get some filberts. But he took such a great fistful that he could not draw his hand out again. There he stood, unwilling to give up a single filbert, and yet unable to get them all out at once. Vexed and disappointed, he began to cry. "My boy," said his mother, "be satisfied with half the nuts you have taken, and you will easily get your hand out. Then perhaps you may have some more filberts some other time." The boy's hand was stuck, not because of the pitcher, but because of his impatience. And just like him, we must remember, a little now is better than losing everything by wanting too much. Truly, do not attempt too much at once. Mercury and the Woodman. A poor woodman was cutting down a tree near the edge of a deep pool in the forest. It was late in the day, and the woodman was tired. He had been working since sunrise, and his strokes were not so sure as they had been early that morning. Thus it happened that the axe slipped and flew out of his hands into the pool. The woodman was in despair. The axe was all he possessed with which to make a living, and he had not money enough to buy a new one. As he stood wringing his hands and weeping, the god Mercury suddenly appeared and asked what the trouble was. The woodman told what had happened, and straightway the kind Mercury dived into the pool. When he came up again, he held a wonderful golden axe. "Is this your axe?" Mercury asked the woodman. "No," answered the honest woodman. "That is not my axe." Mercury laid the golden axe on the bank and sprang back into the pool. This time he brought up an axe of silver, but the woodman declared again that his axe was just an ordinary one with a wooden handle. Mercury dived down for the third time, and when he came up again, he had the very axe that had been lost. The poor woodman was very glad that his axe had been found, and could not thank the kind god enough. Mercury was greatly pleased with the woodman's honesty. "I admire your honesty," he said, "and as a reward you may have all 3 axes, the gold and the silver as well as your own." The happy woodman returned to his home with his treasures, and soon the story of his good fortune was known to everybody in the village. Now there were several woodmen in the village who believed that they could easily win the same good fortune. They hurried out into the woods, one here, one there, and hiding their axes in the bushes, pretended they had lost them. Then they wept and wailed and called on Mercury to help them. And indeed, Mercury did appear. First to this one, then to that. To each one he showed an axe of gold, and each one eagerly claimed it to be the one he had lost. But Mercury did not give them the golden axe. Oh no! Instead, he gave them each a hard whack over the head with it and sent them home. And when they returned next day to look for their own axes, they were nowhere to be found. From that day on, the villagers learned that honesty, no matter how small, shines brighter than gold or silver. Because in the end, it's not what we gain through trickery, but what we earn with truth that truly lasts. And that is why we say, honesty is the best policy. And that was tonight's story from the world of Aesop's Fables. A little tale with a big lesson, told just for you. Now it's time to rest, little dreamer. Let your thoughts drift like clouds, and your dreams carry you to peaceful places. Until next time, sleep well, and good night from Inspiration One Studio Bedtime Stories.